So I have watched um the most I don't know. Let's not go into superlatives. I suppose. Um, is it's a bizarre film. Let's just say movie at best. Let's just say it's. I've watched not another teen movie, right? And sure enough, it's a spoof. It is intentionally trying to spoof the genre, and it does. But it's one of those things. Um, it has some good parts, has some bad parts. I don't know why the bad parts are there. That's the thing. Would have been much better if they just left the good parts in, like when Molly Ringwald appears. Yeah, that's an interesting cameo. I think, in my opinion. But I don't know why the others appear. No. Um, Equally thought there's a lot of nonsense. I don't know who the hell thought that, you know, okay, it was an interesting juxtaposition, when that guy is talking about, what humor is supposed to be instead of all this human excrement, and then they literally, unleash all of the excrement on him. Uh, it was kind of fun until they devolved to the very end. I don't know, just too much in my opinion. And then well, not only edit. Just they went way over the top, shall we say? Like it's fine if you're just comparing, different sorts of humor. Yes, it's even if you juxtapose them, but just filling a room with feces isn't quite my definition of humor, fun, or anything. Just I don't know. It's really really bizarre how it happens. It's just what one of those things. What just I don't get it. And 'cause otherwise, stuff. What it had, what it did have, the rest, everything else, wasn't too bad. It had a lot of sort of meta humor. Obviously playing a lot with stereotypes. That's what it did. Yes, certainly. It sort of went after everyone. Not just to sing a song. Sometimes you just wonder whether it's biased in favor or against some. But no, it really went after everyone. Sure enough, the jock was supposed to be reformed, and somehow the geek is let on again, just like the last American Pie I've watched. Yeah, what's it called again? Beaver House. Yeah. Somehow, for some reason, these sort of movies tend to favor jocks, as it happens. What a surprise. Yeah, no. So anyway, it's just I'm still not entirely sure why they included. Why they even American Pie. When it includes jokes about feces or farts, like what the hell are they thinking of? Who the hell goes, oh, I'm hearing a fart, ha ha ha? Like really? Since when is a fart joke funny? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. It's bizarre. Anyway, that wasn't even the worst. Obviously, yeah, it began with the farts, and then there was some other nonsense, and then they fell on her, and then the whole goddamn sewage. And it's just the absolute worst, right? I think, in my opinion, absolute worst. Um, there were a few other bits, I think, which weren't up to just like when in there was a lot of comedy that seemed to be sort of what could be described as staccato, where they establish an expectation and then subvert it. I actually like that sort of comedy, but it did still go too far. Like for example, when she was describing her mother. Obviously, when it comes to her paintings and how the jock said, "Oh, she looks just like you," this in response to a stick figure. That was funny. I gotta say, because it was played quite straight faced as well. Then she went on and established this thing about her mother going out in the rain, and so he thought that she died due to a car crash. This, and then her response, it's supposed to be a punchline, but it's just not funny, right? And these things aren't really funny per se, and I don't know who the hell finds it funny. It's supposed to be about her mother as well. I mean, I'm sure in real life that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't just set up jokes where that um, whatever. Unless you hate your parents, obviously. And she didn't seem like she did though. So just just a little bit where they go just a slight bit too far. I mean, and just whatever ultimately. But this is actually a very old movie for something I've barely ever heard of. I mean, I know there's other movies titled somewhat similarly. I'm assuming they're copying it, but it was interesting though that the T-Man appeared as well. Is he called the T-Man or? Yeah, that guy as a wise janitor. That's another cool cameo. But that's pretty much it. That's the only thing. Just good cameos. Molly Ringwald, I suppose, is the most relevant in this case because she represents the teen comedy generation of movies. I mean, this isn't quite a sort of movie she'd normally be in decades prior. Was it decades? I think it was. Wasn't it? I could barely recognize it. I mean, I watched some. I watched, I think, Breakfast Club, but not many others. But yeah. Otherwise, yeah. Um. So it was kind of, sort of funny how she kept saying that's from that, that's from that, you know, and yeah, she's no, I guess she appeared in that. Um, so yeah, I can see that it has a lot of allusions, yeah, to many, yeah, American Pie, which I have seen. I haven't seen many of the others here. Only ones I've seen is Ferris Bueller, but I couldn't see the reference, and Breakfast Club, but that's just I didn't remember the script either, so I just didn't. No, I don't think I've watched Road Trip yet. I'm not sure, so um, yeah. So but yeah, these aren't too bad to just switch off one's mind in, and that's really what one does. Suppose the most sort of base sort of comedy really don't require much at all. Um, but I don't know. It had obviously had a lot of stereotypes, a lot of weirdness. Um, that little bit about a character named Ariola. Yeah, that's quite something. I honestly I've never seen that being done anywhere else, even in American Pie. So, what I've seen so far, at least, it hasn't. I haven't seen it anywhere. It was sort of unique. Obviously, they didn't exactly do much with it either. But, whatever. Honestly, except for someone saying, yeah, she copied my what was the word she used? My outfit, I think. So it's sort of meta sort of humor, and I don't mind. Something I don't mind. I actually like this sort of I suppose one could call it meta humor, but this well, stereotypical humor as well. I don't mind it. I like it in fact, but I just is I don't know why there were. I mean, some of the stereotypes were lazy though. Honestly, like the thing that were you supposedly she can go from having a ponytail to and change of some clothes and glasses to suddenly although the way it was done where she just removed the glasses and and ponytail, and she said, "I'm a miracle worker." That was kind of funny, not laugh out loud funny, but the horny trio were also funny. I think the way they did everything. Yeah, it's they obviously had their own stereotypes to work with. So yeah, the bit though with Reggie, whatever it's called, was a bit overdone as well, in my opinion. I mean, they just kept hitting him and such. That's not funny per se. It's just I mean, concussion is a serious issue. So and then he wasn't seen again after ambulance took him. I don't know. This is where they go just a slight bit too far. I mean, I know it's all about these stereotypes and sometimes just they do just try to go as far as possible, but they don't seem to have any boundaries. Kind of like with literally when it comes to the feces from high above. That's literal destruction of all boundaries. Yeah. I don't know. Just sometimes it's just not funny. I mean, whether due to disgust or you know just making fun of serious issues. I mean, there weren't a lot of these. If you make fun of horny teenagers, that's not a serious issue. So yeah, sure, fine. Or jocks or geeks, but even with geeks, they went way too far. Like, come on, they actually made a audio clip of his bone crunching. I mean, what's the point of that? That's disgusting as well. Right? Just a bit disgusting, but it is. Not quite as disgusting as the poop falling from the sky, but what's the point? And the way they depicted him, just I mean, way too much. I think if you just stopped it, like, come on, just what is he supposed to say? Just I mean, wow, yeah, the jock has so much luck not being hit by a single car. Yeah, why not? And somehow with the geek, they just ram into him like they're doing it purposefully. I'm pretty sure that's what the intention was. They even called him out to stop. It's bizarre, and then even the people in the queue called him an asshole for some reason, despite mm, cheering on the job. I don't get this. Like it's actually when it comes to American Pie in this sense, Beta House. I mean that still had this sort of thing where geeks end up losing a chat, but it was more friendly there. It wasn't as disgusting either. So it's saying a bit much because American Pie doesn't normally. I'm not saying American Pie is by any means some sort of incredible filmmaking or anything. It's very mediocre, but this, in this sense, in this particular specific sense, you know, and then yet again, I mean, I'm not saying this movie is automatically worse than American Pie because American Pie actually doesn't have as many meta jokes as much, even with regards to stereotypes, not as much. But I mean, it's more about like that bit in this movie where he whispered in her ear, and then he told her that he was going to tell her a secret, so he could let it out himself and confirm it. That was clever. I liked it. It was like a sort of original sort of thing where but in comparison, the poop falling from high above isn't quite. I don't know, it's just a bit too far. It's also when he punches the bag. Um, that was kind of a moment as well. And he just says he doesn't know why he's punching it. You know, so it's certainly more funny than all the previous punches. Which just could be either attributed to just idiotic violence, but punching a bag. I mean, even the fact that the bag existed as if it was some sort of extension to the person there. That was unique. I mean, I've never seen such a concept. I like that. It's almost sci-fi in a way. Obviously, it wasn't expanded upon, but if it was sci-fi, I guess it would have. But as it was, yeah, that's quite interesting. A floating plastic bag with most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I think on it. That was interesting. I gotta say. intrigued me. Now, also, the thing with her dad there, I mean, I guess that could also be another sensitive issue when it comes to PTSD and such from wars. But I don't think they handled it too badly. I mean, they still remain on the side of pure humor as opposed to, that's, I mean, in a way that is truly how they could act out sometimes due to the PTSD. Um, so it's still a bit of a gray issue, as to whether it's really appropriate for humor. But I don't know when they were singing that song, Thor, and he joined in saying, yeah, he's been alcoholic since Nam. I don't know. I didn't feel it was. I mean, I thought it was funny. So now, personally, I don't have such experience. I haven't had PTSD, so obviously, I might, not be thinking in terms of, maybe people who do would find it disturbing, but I'm assuming not as disturbing as loads of feces coming from high above. Let's just say. Yeah, I think we've established that at this point. Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Actually, I don't know honestly why they add such scenes. Like, if you subtract that bit and retain everything else, it would be fine. It would just be fine. Or even if you maybe have the speech, teacher speech, because it was interesting and the juxtaposition. But what if he just suddenly started to hear the noises or such? You don't need that extreme thing, do you? Just all of that feces just coming on top. It's absurd. That's disgusting. It's not funny. I mean, it was funny up to the tone. It's just I mean, what's the point? Um, in a way, I agree with what he was saying. Then this thing about about infantile humor. It's a bit too much. Because otherwise, so the meta humor was quite interesting. And so in a way, it could have been a really funny movie. I mean, sure enough, it was only uh, including the whole scene, maybe a minute or two long. So it's not exactly that much, but and there's also a lot of. I mean, sure that it has meta humor, it has stereotypical humor, but most of the stereotypes are lazy. So it's not quite, the most amazing thing ever. But it had these tidbits, I think the thing with the plastic bag was the best, I think. I mean, it wasn't laugh out loud funny either, but it was quite, it was surreal humor, that's what it was. And I like that sort of humor. But, I mean, obviously, it's not stereotypical humor either, you cannot say it is. But, other than that, though, there were sort of these sort of stereotypes they made fun of, satire, yeah, that I still like. It wasn't too lazy, but most of it still was, I think. I don't know. Just, yeah, most of them minded, but it's still. Well, anyway, I watched it. It's quite old. Will be 20 years next year, so it's 18 years and a half old now. Quite an old movie. I suppose it will be regarded as some sort of special classic or anything. It's on average rated lowly, even in comparison. I mean, to like I noticed that they named the school after this director that made all these movies. But even then, John Hughes. Even then, I mean, his movies are usually better than this. I don't think I haven't exactly seen everything. By far, I've only seen a minority. But I'm assuming they don't have loads of shit coming out from above. At least the ones that I've seen haven't had, unless I'm seriously forgetting something. I don't think they didn't. I don't know why. So yeah, overall, I think those sort of movies I still prefer. But yeah, I don't know why they had to. Obviously, they tried to go, the American Pie sort of humor. Other than that, I'm not sure where else they got because I haven't exactly seen the majority of the movies they referenced. But I just usually stuck with, just anyway. I've made my case now. I liked it, but not too much. It was just about mediocre.